Today, I'd like to talk about Three-Eye Atlas and the messages that I was receiving in meditation, as today is that day where it's flying very close to the sun. It's passing the sun. And as I was tuning in and asking Spirit, what does this mean or what is this energy bringing forth? And what I kept hearing was activation, activation, activation. And this is an activation of power because Spirit was showing me or pointing out to me Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun. These are the 4 points that Three-Eye Atlas is passing very closely or has passed already very closely. And the order in which it showed me, like Venus getting activated, which is the feminine principle, Mars getting activated, which is the masculine principle, the masculine energy, Jupiter expanding both the masculine and the feminine principles. It passing the sun is representing it activating the inner sun, the inner solar plexus, because that's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. This is about our power center. So there is this activation of power within both the masculine and feminine collective, within humanity. So there is this bringing alive or bringing to the forefront our personal power. And there's going to be this recognition, Jupiter expanding this, right? As it flew by Jupiter, it is expanding, opening, triggering this overflow that is now going to come through power. So it was like they were showing me like the power of creation and how we each create our own reality in every moment of every single day through who we are embodying in every single moment. And I was reading one of the comments under yesterday's video. Somebody had mentioned that they were feeling incredibly burnt out and exhausted and like simultaneously feeling this desire to move forward or to move past it or to get out of this energy, but that they didn't know how to get out of this energy. And that was just such a perfect comment. And it was so beautiful for this energy specifically today that is being activated, because what I was receiving actually was to give that individual the advice, or anyone that is struggling with feeling exhausted and feeling super burnt out and just not having the energy to do things and feeling really stuck in that burnt out energy. And I know because I've been there, that's actually a part of your awakening journey. That is a part of the cycle that you have to move through. And the way that we move through that cycle, you have to see and you have to notice what has exhausted you in the first place, what has caused or created this burnout within you in the first place. Because when you recognize that, that is when you're going to be able to take your power from those things that you have done, from that way of thinking, from the way that you've been perceiving. Because I feel like it's like the way that you're seeing everything is very skewed, very limited. I'm seeing like a pinhole, like it's really, really small. And because of that, you have been in this forceful energy where you're trying to force things to happen. You're trying to make things happen. And you're doing it through exertion. Like you're trying to accomplish something through, I'm hearing hustle, grind, and like this really hard energy. And that is what has caused the exhaustion or the burnout to begin with. And I feel like actually this ties in beautifully as a collective message for all of us, because this is the kind of shit we're pulling our power back from now. This is what we are being activated by this Three-Eye Atlas, this anomaly that has literally just sort of come out of left field and entered our solar system that scientists can't even figure out what the hell it is. Like this energy and just the incredible energy that this thing is bringing into our solar system is this activation, this coming online. And I feel like this is like really ancient technology. That's what I'm hearing. Ancient technology. This is very and I'm seeing codes. This is very anciently programmed technology that is coming around in our solar system at this time to activate humanity on this planet, to activate you specifically and me and the next person to be in your power, to recognize the ways in which you have burnt yourself out through doing the wrong action, taking the wrong action, through not having an expansive mindset, through actually not seeing your own personal power and how you can best utilize that to create the reality that you want for yourself. So in my own personal process and in my own journey of becoming a significantly higher version of myself, or more than anything, I should say, stepping back into who I truly am. In that journey, moving through that exhaustive phase and moving through the burnout phase was really challenging. It was really challenging. And at that time, I really thought and believed that I was doing something wrong, that I was not capable, or that I was not able to do better, like to create a better life for myself. I was super, super down on myself because I was feeling so exhausted and burnt out. And then I recognized once I actually moved through that phase, and the only thing that actually moved me through that phase was just infinite amounts of self-love and self-care. And that's what I recognized, is that is the cure. That is the only cure for everything, for all ailments in life. And Spirit is showing me whether that's physical ailments, whether that is financial ailments, mental ailments, everything and anything that is out of whack or out of balance in your life right now is only that way because you are not perceiving your power. You are not recognizing who you truly are. You are disconnected from that aspect of yourself. You're very much living in reptilian brain is what I'm seeing. You're not in your godliness. And this 3i Atlas situation is present only to activate that God consciousness, only to bring it back online. So regardless of what scientists are saying or how they're trying to analyze this or what category, class, or whatever they want to put it in, what this feels like more than anything is like God it's like God's finger, like God giving us a hand, sending a certain energy, sending a certain frequency. Ooh, it's a frequency that this thing carries that is being sent into our galaxy so that it can awaken certain frequencies within us. You know how there's that saying how like you are the embodiment or like the result of your 5 closest friends? Why? Because it's frequency, right? So however your friends or your people, your environment, whatever they resonate at, whatever frequency they're at, or whatever mindset they have, whatever habits they have, you tend to take those on. We tend to take those on, right? Why? Because it's frequency. There's like an energy transference, a vibrational transference that happens. Whatever vibration you're in for a long time is the vibration that you're going to adopt to. It's going to be the vibration that you pick up and that you start vibrating at. And so this is how I'm seeing it, is this 3i Atlas thing. I don't know whether to call it a spaceship or I don't know what it is. It to me it looks like consciousness. Now whether there's beings in this thing or not, whether it's a ship or not, I don't know, but there's definite consciousness to it. There is purpose to it. It knows why it's here. And it knows that we are aware of its presence. And I feel like the people that are really coming online right now, the people that are really, really connecting back to their power and connecting into their godliness, their Christ consciousness, the people that are really aligning with that Christ consciousness within themselves, and they start to really feel and live and think from that energy, those are the individuals that are actually being even more activated, even more profoundly influenced by this energy. There is a consciousness, even if you're like not fully like conscious aware of it, but there's like a subconscious connection here with this 3i Atlas thing. So it's very interesting, and it's super, super interesting that it's here and it's here now, that it is here in this extremely pivotal year. Like 2025 is such an incredibly pivotal year for transformation, for rebirth, for Phoenix rising energy. There is a massive, massive coming online within our hearts, within our souls. There's like soul activation energy is what I'm hearing. So regardless of whatever stage you're at in your healing journey, in your ascension journey, just know that having significantly more compassion for yourself and having significantly more love for yourself, meaning that you don't push yourself to grind so damn hard, you don't force yourself to do things that don't feel in alignment, you don't force yourself to give to people or places or situations that you don't intuitively or naturally feel called to give to at this time, honoring those intuitive feelings, those intuitive nudges, honoring your own knowing is going to be what is going to shift you, propel you, push you forward significantly faster at this time. Because that's what we're called to do, is just to step back into your power, know who you are on a soul level, not on a mental reptilian brain, materialistic, physical plane level, but like on a really deep soul level. And I know when I moved through this phase of my journey of really getting to know myself and really reconnecting to my personal power, one of the aspects that I noticed about myself is that I was always very external. I was always very much looking external to myself for validation, for reassurance, for confirmation. And now I don't do that. Like, I just don't do that. As a matter of fact, it's irritating. Like, I feel like I have to shut that down as soon as a certain video comes up or something where, maybe a tarot reader is trying to tell me who I am. I'm like, no. Even if they have like good things to say, I don't want to be influenced that way. I don't want somebody else outside of me telling me who I am, because only I know who I am. And that knowing only can come from my own connection to myself. And I know that when I was exhausted and when I was moving through that phase of burnout, I was burnt out because I was giving so fucking much to everybody else and ignoring my own needs, ignoring my own intuition, ignoring my own knowing, inner knowing, and just not listening to that, and always feeling like I had to give and give and give and give more because I didn't feel worthy, because I was so disconnected from my personal power and my own worthiness, my own godliness at the time. Like, I know that that was such a big part of my ascension. Like, I am so grateful for that phase, because it has brought me here to this point where I know who the fuck I am now. And there's no way that I'm going to let anybody outside of me tell me who I am, or let anyone outside of me dictate what I'm going to experience in my life. When you know your power and when you fully step into your power, it is magical, absolutely magical. And that's what this 3i Atlas energy feels like. Like, it's coming here to bring magic, to activate magic in our fields, in our consciousness, in our hearts, in our minds, and like help us remember who we are. It's to help us remember and reconnect to that infiniteness that we have within ourselves, to that spark of light, that spark of God. I keep seeing it as this big, bright light that is emanating from our core, emanating from our heart space. So getting into alignment with yourself means that you learn to love yourself. Stop overgiving. Stop giving in general if you are burnt out and exhausted. That is your body and your soul saying to you, I don't have nothing else to give. Like, I'm tapped out. My cup is empty. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give to others from an empty cup. So when you reach burnout, and when I reached burnout, you know what I did? There was periods where for weeks, all I did was I got up in the morning. I just barely got myself together to like get my daughter out the door for school, got her lunch made, sent her off, and I literally went and crashed in the living room, laid on the couch, and I just laid there. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't give to anyone. I couldn't be of service to anyone because I was so tapped out. I was so running on empty. And I had to learn how to love myself again, how to give and fill myself back up again. Because that was not something anybody outside of me could do for me. So there is some really powerful energies that are coming in here, coming online, and sort of sweeping out the crap, like clearing out illusion, delusion, lack of worthiness, lack consciousness, poverty consciousness, this bullshit belief system of not being worthy or good enough to receive incredible abundance and love and understanding and great friendships and connections and partnerships. Like, That's what it's clearing out. It's saying, own your godliness. Own your God-given power to recognize, to honor your own worth, to give yourself what you need without expecting others to give it to you, but you give it to yourself. You fill yourself up so freaking much right now that literally your cup is just going to be overrunning and overrunning continuously. That's what the mission is. That's what the message is. That's what we are meant to step into now fully. And stop worrying about your manifestation. Stop worrying about trying to call things into your life. Instead, get yourself in a place where you feel so damn good about who you are. You feel so powerful in who you are. And you feel so convinced because you have healed yourself, because you have cleared everything out of the way, that you now have this capacity and this understanding of your worth, of your light, of the incredible gift that you are to other people. Because guess what, baby? If you don't see your worth and if you don't see who the fuck you are, nobody else is going to see it either. Whatever you feel about yourself, whatever you embody within yourself in terms of an energy, the identity that you identify with within yourself is what you are projecting out. That is what people are subconsciously picking up from your energy and responding to. And the moment that I stopped feeling like a victim when it came to relationships, when it came to other people, was the moment the bullshit stopped. Like, it was like I just wasn't approached anymore. I wasn't calling in that kind of an experience anymore where people were pissing me off left, right, and center. Nobody can do that for me anymore. Nobody can rock my emotional stability anymore, because I recognize that that's not mine. That's theirs. That has nothing to do with my worth. Them treating or trying to treat me like shit has nothing to do with my worth. And it has everything to do with who they are consciously and their projections and how they feel about themselves. So this is the type of power that you need to reconnect to within yourself. And you need to really, really ask yourself some very, very clear questions. Why do I give my power away to things and people and circumstances? And why do I let the external world dictate how I'm going to feel? Why do I let the external world dictate how I'm going to view myself? I get to dictate that. Nobody's going to tell me who I am. I'm going to tell me who I am. And that's just a firm choice you make within yourself. And when you make that choice, nothing and nobody will ever fuck with your peace again. They just won't be able to, because you're going to be so firm, standing so grounded in your power. You're going to be so anchored in your power and in your knowing of your power that nothing outside of you will have any power over you. So that's the message coming through right now. And that's what I wanted to share. And if you resonate with this message, then you are already accessing higher and higher levels of your own personal power, because there are levels to this. At first, you feel your power just a little bit, or you feel like little inklings of it, or you just see it here and you see it there, but then, you go back into victim mode. You fall back into this. This just happened. So now, gave my power away to that. Now I'm going to feel like crap. So it's like, it comes in waves, and then eventually it starts to level out, because you level out, because you start to decide and very firmly choose that nothing out here controls me. Nothing out here has power over me. I dictate my reality, and my reality will have no choice but to rearrange itself to show up for me in the way that I see it in here, in the way that I feel it in here. Because it would be contradictory for you to feel completely at peace, to be in your power, to feel courageous and strong and powerful, and then attract some kind of victim mindset type of situation in. That's not possible. You're just not going to call that in, because that's not the energy you're resonating with. You're going to call in experiences and energies that are going to mirror to you who you are embodying. and the identity that you are holding within yourself. Identity is nothing more than frequency, by the way. So your identity is constantly linked or is emitting a frequency. The question is, who are you being right now? Who are you feeling like right now? A victim or someone who has power and control over their circumstances? Even if circumstances don't look that great right now, you can still feel like somebody who is in power and in control of their circumstances. And you relax and you let go of control. You let go of anxiety and worry, of doubt, of fear. And you say, no matter what the outside world is doing, I'm staying in my peace. I'm going to stay harmonious. I'm going to stay in love. And then you do whatever you got to do to keep yourself there. If that's daily meditation and you start it first thing in the morning when you wake up, to get this right, to get yourself aligned and centered, to remind yourself of the identity that you are embodying, then that's what you start your day with. There also needs to be a commitment and a discipline here where you show up for yourself in a very different way, in a very powerful way. Where you show up for yourself and you only give your time and attention to things and activities and foods and people and content that are in alignment with that version of yourself, that ideal version that you see for yourself, or that you are becoming, that you wish to see, that you wish to fully embody. Every time I look at my phone, both my screensaver and my lock screen, they both have images and they both have text on there that remind me who the fuck I am. Every time I open my YouTube page or any other app or my Pinterest, I've got boards, my YouTube is set up. Everything is set up in such a way where it is constantly reflecting back to me who I am choosing to embody. And anything that comes up that has nothing to do with who I'm choosing to embody, which is a powerful, wealthy, highly spiritual, and highly tapped in individual, anything that isn't that is an automatic delete. It's not even for 1 second am I giving it my attention. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope that it empowers you to make better choices for yourself and to start really being diligent about the choices that you're making moment to moment. In every single moment, am I being a victim right now? Am I in my power? Am I being a victim right now? Am I being in my power? This person just called me. I started to feel emotional about it. Am I being a victim? Am I in my power? If I'm in my power, I relax. I let it go. I'm not going to let that piss me off. I'm not going to let their stupid thing, whatever. Like, you just don't let anything rock your world. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that makes sense. And I hope you take some time to connect to your power on a daily basis. You are in your power when you say, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get a hold of this. I'm going to meditate. That's you being in your power. You are in your power when you're feeling exhausted, but you know you have like 300 things to do. And instead of doing any of those 300 things, instead you say, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to give myself a moment to rest and I'm going to lay down and I'm just going to let myself be in receiving mode. That's you being in your power. So power shows up in a lot of different ways in our lives. You just have to know when you're in it and when you're not in it. So stay aware, my friend. Observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, observe your responses, your reactions to everything. Observe what you are giving your attention to. And the more that you do that, the more natural this is going to feel for you. And the more naturally you're going to move into an identity who is continuously in their power. So I'm wishing you a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video very soon.